Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to do a reading. I feel like there's so many changes that are taking place right now. There's so much like heavy energy kind of coming up, and you might be having a lot of like old energies or old feelings, like feeling like past versions of yourself. As like some of this stuff is coming up to heal, you might also be like feeling things and seeing things in a different way from a higher level than you were able to see in the past. So like I said, you might be feeling like the emotions and the energy of it, or in your body, you might be feeling it. It might be coming up in your dreams, having a lot of like conflicting energy, or feeling like you're being pulled in one direction and another direction at the same time. And for a lot of you, that's kind of like the old version of you that's kind of like dying off and healing as you're making different changes in the present moment. Okay, I'm just gonna pull some cards though. I feel like if I don't, I'm just going to keep talking about all this shit that's going on right now. So I'm like, let's just pull some cards and channel some messages and say, why is my hand hurt all of a sudden? All right, what else do you want us to know? Okay, so on the bottom, we got Highest Priestess. I'm pretty sure we got this literally last time. The same card. Powerful psychic insights, reflection, and meditation that provides valuable information. Be at peace. Actually, what I'm getting though for this card is really opening up your energy and emotions and allowing things to flow. As you're doing it, it's going to help you feel more at peace, because it's going to help you feel like light and free. Like, stop resisting the emotions and the messages that you're getting, and stop resisting like the energy you're getting too. Even if it's uncomfortable or heavy, like, it's going to provide you some type of information. It's going to provide you some type of insight or some type of clarity of something that you've been feeling heavy or stuck with. So if there's something that's kind of going on with you, like that you're not really sure how to handle it, you're not even necessarily sure what's going on, you just know like, okay, I don't feel good, or I don't feel right, or something like that. Like, what they're saying is like, when you sit in the energy and you let it kind of flow and you process stuff, you're going to open yourself up and understand the issues below the surface, like, and how they relate to something that you grew up and you learned. And the Star card just kind of fell out, which is a dream come true, believe in yourself, end of a difficult situation. Okay, so we got the Solutions card, Page of Raphael, and King of Michael. Okay, so I get a lot of like defensive, guarded energy with this, especially when it relates to your heart and your emotions, things and people that you love. It feels like a lot of just defensive, guarded energy. Like, things are coming up and it's almost like it's trying to show you how you handle stuff when things are brought up, and where you were taught like certain behaviors that actually prevent you from having what you want. So like, I'm going to just give you an example. Say you're wanting like connection with somebody, and something's brought up about this situation. What some of you guys are doing is you're actually avoiding them, or you're getting mad, or you're running away, or you're becoming very defensive instead of putting your walls down and being vulnerable and actually being open and receiving and hearing it. Where some of you guys are like handling in a way that you were taught, a lot of times probably by your mom, that you were taught what to do in those situations, but it's actually pushing you away from that connection. It's pushing you away from what you want. So kind of what Spirit's saying is, and this Solutions card is like, you guys need to let things flow. Like, you need to be more open and letting things flow, and really hearing the truth and honoring your emotions and other people's emotions in this situation. It doesn't matter if they're conflicting or not. Like, being open is really kind of the message I'm getting. Is like opening your energy up and opening yourself up, especially when it relates to connecting with other people in your relationships. They just pointed out to me the forgiving and healing energy at the bottom of the Solutions card. For some of you, it feels like there's a lot of repressed emotions related to other people kind of coming up. And what they're saying, I've actually been going through this, is feeling really betrayed by people, and feeling like people who don't have your back, or that you can't trust, or that they do things with selfish intentions, even though they know that like it's not good for you. And it's like healing, feeling all of that stuff and healing it, but also like being honest with yourself about how you felt. Like if you felt betrayed or you felt hurt or you felt unsafe or unsupported or unloved, like being like objective and being honest with yourself that like that is how you felt in that moment. And it's more so looking at, okay, then how do I repair this? Or what needs to happen in order for me to let this go, to be able to heal this, to feel safe? Like, what do I need to do for myself? What boundaries do I need to establish? What things are coming to my awareness that I need to make sure, like moving forward, that this is not reoccurring, or that things are being implemented in a way that is actually like supportive and safe and conducive for my mental wealth, like my mental health and my well-being. Also, I get though, for some of you guys, as you're healing stuff, you're realizing where you've kind of sabotaged yourself, or where you put yourself into situations that weren't good for you and that were harmful for you. And if you're sitting and dealing with it, you're going to see your patterns of where you learned this behavior, like where this was taught to you, these harmful patterns were actually taught to you. And it's going to help bring your awareness. Like really, a lot of people I don't think realize this is like the best way to heal stuff is to let things flow up, is to honor whatever your feelings are without arguing with them. Is like, okay, I felt like this, and letting it be. Even if if you understand it from a different perspective now, that like, okay, maybe this person didn't mean it like this, or they weren't trying to hurt me. It doesn't change the fact that in that moment you felt betrayed. In that moment you felt very hurt. In that moment you felt scared or uncared about or unloved. And so it's like important for you to honor what those feelings were and let them be what they were. You can also acknowledge that although like I know that what I'm feeling is not necessarily accurate to what I know now, I still felt like that at that time. And it does usually relate to something from your past, but it doesn't always. And it's okay to feel those things. And it's okay to know that maybe it's not truth, but your feelings are still just as valid. And so like when you're doing that, it's bringing awareness to deeper things. It's bringing awareness to behaviors that you accept, lack of boundaries, how you perceive yourself, like where you're not choosing yourself, where you're allowing other people to mistreat you, is teaching you certain things and bringing things to your awareness. So that's the way to heal, is really to feel your emotions and honor them completely, accept them completely as they are, and then to bring awareness to where this is still showing up in your life or what's kind of going on. And so it's unlearning things that we learned that were harmful or unhealthy to us. But again, I keep getting this just very defensive, guarded energy. This very like avoidance, pushing people away, guarded energy when it comes to, and it feels definitely a fear thing, when it comes to people that you care about or things that you want and love, like very heart-centered stuff. And it feels like you guys put a lot of walls around it. So it's kind of looking at, okay, am I in a very like open energy when things are coming up, and am I allowing my energy to flow, or am I trying to control my emotions? Am I very guarded, or am I open and receiving? Am I receptive to things going on? Am I looking at things through a clear lens, or am I looking at them through an ego lens of trauma, of pain, of fear? And it's really like, if you are doing that, go, okay, so what's going on with me? Like, how am I feeling? Like, am I feeling unsafe? Am I feeling scared? Like, what am I feeling? And calming your energy down and saying like, it's okay, and giving yourself validation, and then going, okay, let me open myself up. Let me allow myself to feel these things. Let me allow myself to see these things clearly and objectively. And that's where change takes place. You can't like change anything if you're not willing to actually acknowledge and accept what is being presented to you, because then you're only getting like little pieces of the puzzle and you're not getting the full picture. Okay, what other messages? I saw the playing it safe card, and I was actually thinking about that when I was looking at the other card. But we got kindred partnership with taking steps. And on the bottom, we got deception with the consciousness of lack. Okay, this is what I immediately got. Is Spirit's trying to open your energy up, especially like in your heart chakra. So a lot of you guys are definitely blocking this. I feel like a lot of the messages today are really about opening your heart chakra up and really just feeling things, like accepting your feelings and your truth, and like accepting your feelings and your emotions and allowing things to flow. But with the deception card, what I'm kind of getting is like Spirit's trying to give you insight and clarity, and you're listening to old noise. Like you're listening to things from the past that people have said to you, or it's almost like you're receiving the information in the wrong way, or you're seeing something inaccurately because you're looking at the situation through something that you experienced in the past that like seems like it relates, but it might not relate in the way you're seeing it. And it feels like you're blocking yourself from seeing the truth of it. For some of you, it feels like you're listening to answers or getting advice from people that really actually don't have, I don't know how to say this, like they don't have a good perception on reality. And it almost feels like they're very like drama like oriented, very like gossipy oriented, and not necessarily heart centered and really actually looking out for you. They might seem like they're looking out for you, but it doesn't feel like they necessarily are. It feels more so like their intentions are not really considerate to your emotions and feelings. It feels like there's kind of ulterior motives there. With this consciousness of lack, I just keep getting this energy of like you're literally trying to turn your back on somebody or something, and it might be more than one thing that you actually want. It's like you're literally walking away, or you're pretending like your feelings don't matter or they don't exist related to this person and or situation. That's what these cards I'm getting from. With this kindred partnership and taking steps, I feel like it's kind of literal. It's like, I love how she's wearing like tulle and in both of these. And they're showing the backsides of all these people. It's kind of like imagining and dreaming up what you want and making steps toward that. Letting go of like the defense, letting go of the walls, letting go of the heaviness, letting go of that guarded energy, and taking steps forward toward what you want and opening yourself up. I just keep getting that message, like opening yourself up to your emotions and stop being defensive and guarded with them. For some of you, it definitely need to clearly communicate your feelings on a situation because you're not. And it feels like this fear, lack, avoidance energy. So definitely like try to understand what you're feeling and why, and like try to figure out how to communicate it in the best way. But I just keep getting this like energy of like, you need to move toward what you want. Like you need to move toward what you want, and you need to stop running away and avoiding it. Okay, I think this is the last deck I'm going to pull from. I might pull from one more, but I don't want to do like a super long reading today because I'm kind of tired. Okay, what other messages do you have for us? Throat chakra, which is all about communication. Okay, Jesus. Yeah. The spiritual union card popped out, but it didn't actually like fall out. Okay, so we got balance on the bottom. And then we got throat chakra, discontent and boredom, and triumph. So I think it's interesting. We got like the feminines and the masculines, and then now we got back to the masculines. We got like a bunch of feminine cards, a bunch of masculine cards. With this balance card, it feels like things, I feel like we keep getting this message. Things have been very imbalanced in your life, and you're starting to see where the imbalance is. And a lot of you is very trauma centered, or an avoidance of like repeated things, but you never dealt with like the deeper issues that were causing you to feel that way. So like, you know, you might have had awareness to like, choosing the wrong type of people or something like that, but you weren't dealing, so you changed like some of your behaviors, but you weren't really dealing with those feelings below the surface of why these situations were occurring, or feeling and honoring what those were and releasing them. So even when you were making those choices, they weren't heart-centered. They were still to do the opposite of what you had already received versus doing things from a place of love. It's totally different energies. It's totally different the way it will show up. So a lot of what's going on right now is you're dealing with the trauma energy. You're dealing with those emotions and those repressed feelings. So it can actually bring balance so you can see things I just keep getting see things objectively. Like you guys aren't seeing things objectively. They keep repeating objectively to me. To help you open yourself up and to bring you to a place of peace and balance and like to feel like more light and free. Like that's the whole point, is to feel more light and free and to make more informed decisions. So throat chakra, discontent and boredom, and triumph. You want me to put the triumph to the side? So with this throat chakra, what's interesting, they keep showing me the circle or the upside down triangle with the circle, and they keep relating it to the third eye of not seeing something clearly through your intuition. Like there's something you're blocking intuitively. That's what it feels like, some type of intuitive blocking. It feels like a lingering energy. Like some of you guys, it's this like lingering energy and avoidance of communicating something. Some of you, this is communicating the truth to yourself, but some of you, this is like pretty literal about not communicating with other people. And it's just allowing this energy to linger instead of actually dealing with it. What you don't realize is when energy lingers, it grows. Instead of like if you're needing to have a conversation with somebody about your needs or your feelings or something like that, when you're avoiding it, that energy is growing and that impatience is growing and that pain is growing and all these things are growing instead of coming together and resolving it and healing it or making like figuring out a solution and stuff. With this triumph card, I actually get that you guys need to move forward. Like you already know that this conversation needs to be had. Like you already know that there's things that need to be addressed. And like you're not doing it and you're prolonging the inevitable. So for some of you, it feels like you're wanting resolution, but you're scared of the outcome. It's almost like you're avoiding it because you're scared of the outcome. But the reality is you're strong enough to handle it, and that actions, you know, everything you do, there's a result of your action. There's a result of your choice, and avoiding it is probably going to make that choice actually worse than it would have been if you actually dealt with it in the beginning. For some of you, this feels like it relates to the reading I did last week, that tower, and it might not have happened yet, where it feels like something's going to kind of break down, or it's going to feel like you lose somebody or something. But remember that in that time of things being broken down, it gives you the opportunity to realize how you really feel about shit. And it gives you the opportunity to reflect on your decisions and your choices and what it is you want. And are your choices, behaviors and words actually aligning toward what you want? And are they stepping toward what you want? Or are they kind of like the message we got in the beginning? Are they defensive and guarded and avoidant of what I actually want? Are they in fear mode, or are they open energy, heart center mode? And like, that's what this kind of feels like. And it just feels like handle this sooner rather than later, because if you keep avoiding it, it's going to make the situation worse. Like for some reason, it just feels like your avoidance is going to make the situation worse. And it's almost like for some of you guys, it feels like you actually know it's going to make it worse, but then it feels like you know it's going to make it worse, but then it feels like two things. It feels like a sabotaging thing, like you know it's going to make it worse, so this way you can continue in your cycle of sabotage, and or that it's going to be up to the other person, so you don't actually have to step up and make a decision, and you're going to put it on the other person's because you think you can't handle it or don't feel strong enough to, or whatever. And it feels like an avoidance of responsibility on your part. Okay. All right, last message. We got intuition on the bottom. We got happiness underneath, but I don't feel that energy to pull that card. With the intuition, Yeah, this is, I'm going to read you what they're telling me to read you, and I'm going to tell you what I got. So it's, don't get outside advice on this situation, which feels like that deception card I said. Listen to your inner guidance, have faith in your intuition, work toward trusting yourself more. And I keep getting that you guys are blocking something that you know is truth. It's like you're avoiding it and lying to yourself because you're scared of what it actually means. It feels like a lot of heaviness and fear. We got emotional healing, divine masculine, spiritual guidance. I told you the masculines were like really up in that last part of this. We're putting the spiritual guidance to the side. This emotional healing and divine masculine. So I get a few things with this. Which it's funny they said this because I've been seeing this a lot of healing in the divine masculine energy. What it means to be an actual masculine energy. And I feel like the way masculines have been taught to act is changing. Like we're finally healing this like misogynistic bullshit, this like sexual ego driven like bullshit, and teaching the masculines how to be heart-centered, how to be safe, how to be protective, how to show up in their truth. And it feels like a collective thing. That's a really big shift right now. I've been seeing this a lot. And so like the masculines who are in their divine masculine energy, who see beyond the ego shit and see beyond that stuff, have actually been really standing up in situations that they see are wrong, and they're not allowing like people to tell them otherwise. Like they're really standing in their truth and helping to bring change, which is I've felt this actually from a few people, not anybody I know personally, but like online and stuff. And I've seen it and I'm like, God damn, I love that. I love me some masculine energy like that. But it feels like there's also a group that are healing this, and it feels like men and women healing this, where the masculines are kind of seeing how they're very ego driven, very sex driven, very selfish. They weren't very heart centered. They're very closed off emotionally from their feelings and avoidant to them. And they're healing that. And a lot of it is like mother and father wounds. Whereas the feminine kind of counterpart is healing those energies they receive from masculines like that, where masculines were using them, where masculines weren't safe, where masculines weren't actually trustworthy in keeping them safe and helping them to see that it was okay to be loved and supported and stuff like that. And there needs to be a balance with that on both, on, you know, the feminine and masculine side. So it feels like kind of this really big collective healing, but also this healing at an individual level. With a spiritual guidance card, I definitely get that like spirit is sending energy and answers and assistance to help with healing this, and helping to see where these things stem from, helping to see even in our own society through like movies and media and like podcasts and like, you know, postings and things like that, where men are taught to act and be a certain way, and women are taught to just accept it and receive it. And we're learning how to heal these conditioning patterns and to work through them and actually come from a place of heart-centeredness and from a place of empowerment and from a place of self-love. And as we do that, we kind of break through the paradigm of conditioning and we heal this collectively. We heal it individually, and then we help the other people who are still in that energy to heal it. So if you're going through this really strong, you probably have a lot of this conditioning from this and possibly past lives too that you're healing. And if it's really heavy for you guys and this really relates and resonates with you right now, it's probably because you have the bigger purpose, and the more resistance you're feeling and the heavier experiences you've had with this, the more you're going to probably help people with this that are really struggling with it. Because as you're getting all of these like pieces of information and the resistance, it's helping you to build a strong, stable foundation. So when somebody is projecting at you, you're able to stand strong in your truth and to not be wavered by their stuff. So some of you guys are growing this stability and resilience within yourselves related to this. And it has a bigger purpose toward your spiritual path. For some of you, this actually feels really heavy, but it also feels like it's going to be such a beautiful, like light, peaceful energy after it does end up healing. I just want to pull one more thing. I was like, oh, we can do whatever. I feel, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know, I keep feeling like I need to pull something else. Okay. Maybe they just had more messages they wanted us to do. I love this deck band, but it's so big. So we're going to just this card definitely wants to come out. So we're just going to intuitively pull shit. Vision. Visualize, imagine, foresee. With divine justice, burdens, and partiality karma. And on the bottom, we got resilience, strength, and step up support. Is that not fabulous? And these are all feminines. I love the balance of this reading too, with the masculines coming out, the feminines coming out. I fucking love this. But yeah, resilience, strength, and up support. I feel like this is just spirit literally trying, and we got vocalize, communicate underneath. But I feel like this is spirit just kind of giving the validation for the message I just gave you. That's validation for this. With the vision and the divine justice, visualize, imagine, foresee, and then we got burdens, impartiality, karma. It just feels like, again, seeing the truth of things and balancing things out. Just understanding things. They keep showing me the word karma. Karma is not like good or bad, like people kind of relate it to. It's what you give out, you kind of receive back, or it's like where you kind of did something to somebody else. It's like the flip side being done to you to help you to see things different and heal it. It's not necessarily you did bad, so then bad's going to happen to you. It's not that way. Sometimes it's to help you understand the other side so you can help heal it. So you can help see it, in a different way. And I talked about this, I want to say, I don't think it was a year ago quite, how we kind of went up the hill and we're on the other side right now. And it's been like a few year process where we're kind of on the other side right now and we're seeing things from a different way. So things that were done to us, like we're either doing to other people in an empowered way, though not in a trauma disempowered way, or we're receiving the things that we didn't receive on this side. I don't know how to explain it, but just the opposite. Whatever it's situational though, the opposite. It's not like a long-term thing. It relates to a whole cycle and a soul thing. So I get a lot of you guys are also going to be receiving on the other end what you've been putting out, and seeing it from another perspective. And that's really, I think, what the karma is talking about is the opportunity to reflect and see it from another perspective to bring balance. And with this divine justice card, I do get, though, even if you're feeling a lot of that heaviness and that energy where you're realizing you hurt people, or you're realizing you hurt people, and or you, I don't want to say you allowed people to hurt you, you weren't choosing yourself in the safest, most supportive way. You're getting to heal that and see it from a different perspective and get clarity on it. And this is what is bringing big change, by the way. I also kind of get from spirit too, you might feel a lot of conflict with this and not really sure like what is truth and what is not. Just process it. Just process your feelings. You don't have to hold on to them that this is truth just because I'm feeling this way. Sometimes it relates to something from the past. Sometimes it doesn't. You don't really need to know until you're supposed to, but you will always get clarity when you're supposed to. If you're feeling a lot of burdensome energy, you're feeling a lot of heaviness, and there's a lack of clarity to it, just process it and let it be, and don't hold on to it as truth, is what I would say. If it's truth, you'll feel it differently and it will be very clear. Sometimes, like I said, it's just awareness to help you see something different or to help you heal something. So I hope that this helps, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.